Once upon a time, in a peaceful countryside village, there lived a kind and hardworking gardener named Heartwarming. Every morning before sunrise, he would walk to a clear stream located far from his cottage to collect water for his plants and vegetables. Heartwarming carried 2 wooden buckets hanging from either side of a sturdy bamboo pole that rested across his shoulders. One bucket was strong and flawless. The other bucket was old and worn, with a small gap between its wooden planks. Because of that gap, water slowly dripped out during the long walk back home. The strong bucket was very proud of itself. It always arrived completely full and believed it was far better than the worn bucket. One morning, while returning from the stream, the strong bucket looked toward the worn bucket and said proudly, "Look at me. I carry every drop of water perfectly. But you lose so much water every single day. You are of no real use." The worn bucket heard the words but remained silent. As days passed, the strong bucket continued making similar remarks. "You never do your job properly. You waste the gardener's effort. You should be ashamed of yourself." The worn bucket tried to ignore the comments, but deep inside, it felt hurt. With every passing day, it became more convinced that it was a burden. Weeks went by, and the bucket's sadness grew heavier. Finally, one evening, as Heartwarming returned from the stream, he noticed tiny drops falling from the bucket. At first, he thought it was water. But then he realized the bucket was crying. "My friend," Heartwarming asked gently, "why do you look so unhappy?" The worn bucket replied in a trembling voice. "Master, I feel terrible. Every day you walk such a long distance to bring water home, yet because of my flaw, so much water leaks away. I can never perform my task properly. You deserve better than me. I am sorry for disappointing you." Heartwarming listened quietly. Then a warm smile appeared on his face. "So that is what has been troubling you?" The bucket nodded sadly. Heartwarming placed the bamboo pole on the ground and sat beside it. "My dear friend," he said kindly, "do not worry. Tomorrow, I want you to pay close attention to something during our journey home." The bucket didn't understand, but it agreed. The next morning, Heartwarming walked to the stream as usual. The 2 buckets were filled with cool, fresh water. As they began the journey home, Heartwarming spoke softly. "Today, keep your eyes open and observe the path carefully." The worn bucket looked around. For the first time, instead of focusing on the water leaking from its side, it noticed the scenery around it. Along one side of the pathway grew countless beautiful flowers. Bright red roses. Golden marigolds. Pink cosmos blossoms. Purple lavender swaying in the breeze. Butterflies fluttered from flower to flower. Honeybees hummed softly among the blossoms. The entire path looked like a colorful garden. The bucket stared in amazement. The flowers were stunning. For a moment, its sadness disappeared. As they continued walking, sunlight danced across the petals, making them glow like tiny jewels. The bucket couldn't stop admiring the beauty. But when they finally reached Heartwarming's cottage, the bucket noticed that once again much of its water had leaked away. Immediately, the old feelings returned. Its excitement vanished. With tears in its eyes, it whispered, "I still failed. Even after seeing those wonderful flowers, I could not bring home all the water." Heartwarming carefully placed both buckets beside the garden. Then he knelt down next to the worn bucket. "My friend," he said softly, "you still do not understand." The bucket looked confused. Heartwarming pointed toward the pathway. "Tell me something. Did you notice where those flowers were growing?" "Yes," replied the bucket. "They were all along my side of the road." "Exactly," Heartwarming said with a smile. The bucket blinked. "But why?" Heartwarming's eyes sparkled. "Because I have always known about your flaw." The bucket looked surprised. "You knew?" "Of course," Heartwarming replied. I noticed the gap in your wooden planks a long time ago. Instead of seeing it as a problem, I decided to use it in a special way. The bucket listened carefully. Months ago, Hariram continued, I planted flower seeds all along your side of the path. Every day, while we walked home from the stream, the water you leaked gently watered those seeds. The bucket stared in disbelief. Hariram pointed toward the colorful flowers stretching into the distance. Those flowers exist because of you. The bucket's eyes filled with tears again. But this time they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of happiness. You mean? I helped create all that beauty. Hariram nodded warmly. Every single flower. The strong bucket listened quietly from the other side. For the first time, it had nothing to say. The worn bucket looked at the colorful garden of blossoms and felt something it had never felt before. Pride. Not the pride of being perfect, but the pride of being useful in its own unique way. Hariram gently placed his hand on the bucket and said, You spent so much time worrying about what you couldn't do that you never noticed what you were already doing. The bucket listened carefully. Your weakness became a gift. Your imperfection brought beauty to this path. Travelers enjoy these flowers. Children stop to admire them. Butterflies and bees find food among them. All because of you. The worn bucket finally understood. It had spent months comparing itself to someone else. It had focused only on what was missing. But it had never seen the good it was creating. From that day forward, the bucket never felt ashamed again. Instead, every morning, it happily watched tiny drops of water fall from its side, knowing they would help more flowers grow.